बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम, अस्सलाम वालेकुम पाकिस्तान। मैं हूं हैदर मेहदी और मेरा प्रोग्राम देखने का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। नाज़रीन, पाकिस्तान में और दीगर ममालिक में प्रोग्राम देखने का बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। आज का प्रोग्राम मैं अंग्रेज़ी में कर रहा हूं, इसलिए कि मेरे साथ मेरी एक बहुत ही ऑनर्ड गेस्ट हैं। उनका नाम है राना जमान। राना जमान बहुत एक फेमस कैनेडियन ह्यूमन राइट्स एक्टिविस्ट है। वैनकूवर में, नोवा स्कॉशिया में होती हैं सारी, और उनसे हम आज बात करेंगे। तो इसलिए मैं अंग्रेज़ी में कर रहा हूँ कि इसलिए पाकिस्तानी ऑडियंस भी सुने, पाकिस्तान के बाहर जो हमारे सेकंड जनरेशन, थर्ड जनरेशन पाकिस्तानी डायस्पोरा है, कनाडा, नॉर्थ अमेरिका, यूरोप में, वो भी सुने, और इंग्लिश स्पीकिंग जो डिसीजन मेकर्स हैं वेस्टर्न वर्ल्ड में, यूरोप, अमेरिका, साउथ अमेरिका में, वो भी सुने। तो मैं अब अंग्रेजी में जा रहा हूँ। वेलकम टू द प्रोग्राम राना, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया। अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
Walaikum salam. Thank you so much. It's actually, I'm very honored and humbled to be here with you, Heather Bai. Like your work is brilliant. MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you, Ji. We're just all doing our bit. Just to introduce Rana. Rana is an incredible. She has an incredible track record for someone so young. She's an award-winning social activist. She was a former delegate to the United Nations for Canada's Voice of Women, and she's also presented at TEDx talks. She was the first Pakistani woman in Nova Scotia to run for the member of the Legislative Assembly in the 2017 provincial elections. And then also she won the nomination for the NDP, the third, that there are three big parties, the Liberal Conservatives and the NDP. The NDP seat for the 2019 federal election, which I don't know whether it's fortunate or unfortunate, only the future will tell, was taken back from her because she tweeted on the Palestinian cause, and I'm sure against the Israel. Later, 6 months later, she also became the first woman in Canada to have her Human Rights Award taken away because she supported the Palestinian cause. This is incredible. Just so unbelievable. Anyway, Rana is now a member of the Green Party, which is a very strong up-and-coming party in Canada. Wish the party well, and she ran for elections for the Green Party in both the provincial and the national level. She's also the founder of the Canadian-Pakistan Association, the Pakistani Canadian Association of Nova Scotia, established in 2016. What an incredible resume. I know there are tons and tons more, Rana Saiba, but I think we really need to get to the meat of the. So the reason I contacted you, Rana Saiba, was that I got lots of information from lots of friends in Canada saying that there's these massive human rights abuses that are taking place in Pakistan, especially against women. And the person that you need to be talking to is a Canadian Pakistani of Pakistani origin, Rana Zaman. And she's a massive human rights activist in Canada, as I've said. And she'd be a great person to exchange notes and insights, information. Hence the reach out to your new viewers, hence the reach out to Rana Zaman. Rana, before I go into my tough questions, now they'll be not tough questions, we're just seeking insight. What do you know, or what is happening in Pakistan today, and your interest?
So I'm going to make this very clear. I am an overseas Pakistani. I came here when I was about 6, 7 years old. So my perspective is extremely limited in this sense that, like most overseas Pakistanis that grew up here, we are not deeply involved in the politics of Pakistan. But that does not mean we are not aware, because there's the other generation, my generation as well. Being born there, even being partially raised there, it's in your blood. It is your country. It is your roots. So it is what you love and you believe in. So the perspective I'm going to be bringing from a human rights lens, as a feminist, as a Pakistani, as an overseas, I do not claim to represent all overseas Pakistani as an individual. I can bring forward some of the voices in Nova Scotia because I have spoken to various members. My work involves me with, the diaspora, the Pakistani diaspora, starting from Toronto to Montreal to Nova Scotia and New Brunswick and the Atlantic provinces. So yes, I'm going to bring a bit of a perspective because I did not take it upon myself to say everything on my behalf. I actually reached out to my community and asked if you had an opportunity to say what you want to say about what's happening in Pakistan, what are some of the issues you would bring forward? And first and foremost, the atrocious human rights violation against women. It is absolutely horrifying. And how are we finding out about it? Especially someone like myself who lives here, doesn't have very many family connections back home, so no one is keeping me apprised from social media. from what's being shared within our own communities as well. And as a result, I came across this video that I found absolutely, the language was horrifying. The person, was exposing themselves. It was a police officer. At that time, I tweeted it, not knowing the history or anything. I just tweeted it and said, I cannot believe this is police treating a woman like this. Without being aware of the time or the date or anything, it's just, I was horrified to see this. And it was clarified that this was done in 2019. And, that people were coming out saying, now, interesting, for me, it was a human rights violation, regardless of the day, date, or age. A violation is a violation. People must be held accountable for their past violations or their future violations or the current violations. That's the bottom line of it. So breaking up the dates and stuff has nothing to do with it. It's the fact, were these people held accountable back then? Are they being held accountable now? And that is the point of all of this. Bringing in the rhetoric that this was then, this is now, has nothing to do with it. What my questioning is, how did an authority that has so much power on the average person come to the mindset that it is okay for them to violate women the way they're violating women, to drag them, pull them by their hair, by their necks, and shoving them, throwing them? And I hate to say, I've gotten information coming in now that they're being incarcerated, they're being violated, while they're there.
Let me just set the context for you as we go into the details. And so you just mentioned that the manner of the arrest is extremely brutal. It's they're dragged by their hair, they're roughened up, not by lady police but by male police officers. They are groped while they're being arrested, and they're being shoved in the van. Vile abuses and threats are hurled at them. This is at the time of the arrest. Now, these are not arrests; these are abductions, because there is no legal warrant. So there's an antiquated law called the Maintenance of Public Order Section 3, used by the British to quell dissent in India, used now. They're illegally then confined. No more 3 weeks now since 9th May. Women they don't know where they are, which police denies that they have them. Their parents, their family, their husbands, their wives, their fathers, their children have no access to them. There is no known location. Horror stories have come out of the physical abuse and the torture and the sexual abuse, with due apologies, that has been inflicted on them. Threats to rape women as old as 70s and 80s have been caught on videos. I've seen them myself. These are current videos. These are not old. I
actually did see that video of an elderly woman surrounded by a group of male police officers in her bedroom.
Yeah, this is Osman Dar's mother in Sialkot.
That is horrifying. If you have an actual, in Pakistan you call it an FIR, complaint, if it's official or legal, you're to present it at the door, and that's where the arrest, I assume that's how
it's the warrant. The FIR is the first information report that is filed with the police. They then get a warrant from a magistrate to go out and arrest the person if it so warrants, and then they go.
So that would be the legal process, and you would arrest the person and take them away. How did they end up in this person's bedroom? And then they closed the curtains, and then they saw someone was observing.
Fortunately,
if they had nothing to hide, why are they closing the curtains?
Fortunately, nothing happened, because as we came to know. But so Rana, this is an
example of what I'm seeing, and a lot of the arrests were based, as again, I'm educating myself, others are educating, geo tracking. I mean, really, you were, let's go to the heart of the matter. A lot of the pro advocates for the other side, and I don't know how else to say it, because when information is shared, I agree that any kinds of human rights violations, no matter who does it, what party, what side, when, they must be held accountable. Let's make that clear. But there should be legitimate charges. A lot of people are arrested. Almost 10,000 people have been arrested without any actual charges. And some of them have been arrested with geo tracking that was used. So even innocent people who could be visiting family or relatives in that radius, I could be there having lunch or dinner with someone, not even aware of what the politics are, just see a crowd of people going by, and all of a sudden I'm arrested and dragged in. without any rights whatsoever and being manhandled if I'm a woman. Like, that is unbelievable. And this is a Islamic country, which is what I find shocking as a Muslim woman, that this is an Islamic country treating its women like that. And I've come to learn that there's an actual law that after Maghrib, male policemen cannot touch females, even if they're committing a crime. A female has to do that. So how have they bypassed all of this?
You know, the Quran, the Quranic ayat stipulates that if you approach somebody's house and you knock 3 times and there is no answer, you go back. There are countless hadiths which support the sanctity of the house, the privacy of the house. There are countless hadiths which support the sanctity of the women. There are laws in Pakistan which protect women, which protect house. Everything is there in place. This has been the most gross violation of human rights, of women's rights, of personal rights, of privacy rights ever in the history of Pakistan. The only period that I can harken back to, Rana Zaman Sahiba, is Zulfikar Ali Bhutto's period, when we saw not similar, but this same type of fascist tactics against his political opponents, where women were physically abused and tortured and sexually abused, and photographs taken. I was in martial law. I am privy to that information of political opponents. But after that, we've had 2 bouts of martial law. We've never seen such horror that has been perpetuated on the people of Pakistan and the women, especially of Pakistan, because this is like dehumanizing society. So how do people in Pakistan fight this, Rana? What should we do?
I think the people of Pakistan are doing what they can. The question is, what can we do to support them? The people are putting their lives on the line. Clearly, this is what I'm seeing. This is not in, we do a peaceful protest here. It's a peaceful protest. Police does not come and start manhandling us. I've done countless protests, and I've been part of countless protests for Black Lives Matter, for Indigenous community, for Palestine, for Uyghurs, for Myanmar, the Rohingyas. And I have not seen this level of police brutality here in Nova Scotia. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, because I saw the manhandling for members of Black Lives Matter, which, instigated a lot of it. So I'm not saying that it's clear, but this level of dragging women by their hair, abusing them, raping them, I haven't seen it from Pakistan. I'm not saying it doesn't happen here, because, if you listen to stories of a lot of Indigenous women and women of color, it does exist here. So I'm not painting that, but this level of brutality, I personally have not seen it with my own eyes here. Now, what can we do? I have to commend the youth. It is the fact that they have woken up. It is their awareness. It is their strength and their courage that they see what they want. They see the difference between right and wrong. They see where the Pakistan is going. They have a vision as well of where they want their Pakistan to go. And they're willing to do it in a democratic way. They're asking for rule of law. They're asking for democracy. They're asking for their right to vote. So why is it elections are not being held? Why is that happening? And that shows that there is some kind of power behind it all. I can start interjecting. We all know when it has been admitted that the US did interfere in the removal of Imran Khan. Now that should be a red flag for everybody. If an outside force is acting to remove a duly elected person, then what is the reason for it? Because they're feeling threatened, because that government, in that case Imran Khan's government, it was not willing to be their puppet, not willing to do what they wanted. So then they actively participated in having him removed. Okay, fine. They did it through the process, and now you have this, temporary government set up. Now the legal process is democratically, if that is what you're all about, hold the elections. Let the people decide who they want to be their leaders. Why is that not happening?
Excellent. And I can just share a little bit of a perspective on why I think this has happened externally, and why I think it is existential to fight for our survival. Three things stand out, Rana Saiba. One is clearly the global hegemonic battle between the US and China. Okay, and we're in the middle. So we're clearly a great prize for the US, not because they're interested in us, because we're of benefit to China because of the access to warm water ports and the CPEC going north, south, east, west, southeast, southwest, northeast, up to Central Asia. Massive economic juggernaut of China gets a amplifying effect if Pakistan is part of the the economic extension of China. So that is really saying, if I can't have Pakistan, you can't have Pakistan. That's number one. The second associated with this is the mineral wealth in Afghanistan and Pakistan, rare earth, lithium, massive, you name it. The future of the semiconductor industry, etc., is all the gold that we have, the copper that we have, and the rare earth. That's number one. The second is Pakistan's nuclear assets. This has been a massive red flag for the US and Israel and all other countries. Why should Pakistan? It's an Islamic country and all that. Who are? And the third really is to get to a stage where Pakistan is so weak, it's balkanized. There are 3-4, Afghanistan, but Balochistan is separate. There's a separate kind of a small rumpish Punjab. There is a rumpish Sindh, maybe a rumpish Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So when I see what's happening, what the army and General Asim Munir is doing to Pakistan, I'm saying if every Tom, Dick, and Harry and his dog can see the consequences, can't he? And the answer is, I think he can, but he's doing it deliberately. So he achieves all the three aims: the balkanization, the nuclearization, the complete destruction of Pakistan's economic, political, social, and security frameworks. This is how I see it.
Yes, and these are all, like, I've watched your shows. I'm sure other people have watched your shows as well. And we are learning all of this. You had one with Mr. Norton. It was an incredibly informative interview. So I watched that as well and learned. The perspective I'm going to bring is, I'm asking the whys, but we know the whys. It's about raising awareness and consciousness of what is happening. One of the things you said, what can we do, is, well, we can demand the 10,000 people plus that have been arrested illegally, that they should be released, especially the women. The women should be released. Why are they not being released? One of the things we can also do is advocate, starting from within, is the waking up of the conscience. Where is the conscience of the authority and the military forces that are involved? They are there. Here in Canada, the police have a motto: to serve and to protect. That is what they hear. I'm not sure if the equivalent exists in Pakistan.
Probably it does, but it is meaningless.
Well, that's why has it become meaningless. Why have the police and the authorities, why do they find it so easy to suppress their own people? And I'm going to do a comparison. Kashmir and India, it's easy to suppress because you're suppressing Muslims. India is suppressing Muslims, right? In Palestine, Israeli, the IDF is suppressing Palestinians, an entire people. They're the occupiers, so there's a reason for it, right? And they want to promote the sole country as a Jewish state only. So they're suppressing all other religions in that state. What motivation, what inner desire lets a person in authority sleep at night when they go and suppress their own women? These are their mothers, their sisters, their wives, their nieces. Like, in some way or another, they're all related in this country.
Centuries of servility. Centuries of servility, Rana Saiba. The 1857 mutiny by first war of independence by Bahadur Shah Zafar against the British, every single Muslim and Hindu unit in Bihar, Bengal, Orissa, Telangana, South, Hyderabad revolted against their British officers, except Punjabi Muslim units, Punjabi Sikh units, and Pathan units, and Gorkha and Dogra units. Everybody else revolted. So this western part, which is now Pakistan, has served the British and 3/4 of the army, which stormed back into Delhi in September 1857, comprised Punjabi Muslims, Punjabi Sikhs, and Punjabi Pathans, and they raped, pillaged, robbed, plundered, destroyed Delhi for 2 weeks without having been pulled back. It is that same police, it is that same army, it is that same bureaucracy, it is that same judiciary that was formed after 1857 that we inherited. India made some changes, brought their army under the law of the civilian law, destroyed the power of the feudals, all the rajas and the sardars and all that. It's not a perfect country, but they did that, right? We didn't. This is an occupying executive. This is an occupying police force. This is an occupying military who has not changed its traditions one whit from 1857. That's why, Rana Saiba, these people can go to sleep, because their grandfathers and their great-grandfathers have all done the same.
Well, guess what? Their children aren't doing the same, are they? Guaranteed, some of these people.
Some of them are not, and that's why we are facing this resistance. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So this is where I'm saying the youth are our future. They're to be commended. Where we have failed as adults, you know, in our past generations, and obviously I'm going to include myself, our youth are not that blindsided. I am quite sure there are many of these people who are in power, their youth are not in agreement. And many of them are out there. They're all related. So are they eventually then going to suppress their own blood? Are they going to kill the entire youth population? For what then, if there's no one left? What is to gain? And we are doing the work of so many outside forces that want to see Pakistan fall. They have been looking for its downfall since its creation. Yes. And now, whatever your mindset is, what will you do once you help your own country's downfall? You wish to become a puppet for someone else. You want to serve someone completely different. Again, I'm just using this as an example because I know of the tensions between India and Pakistan over Kashmir. So if you weaken Pakistan so much within, India has now the opportunity to come in and invade and take over a weakened Pakistan. Is that the rule? What these Punjabi people or the army, I can't even imagine what the governor, the generals are thinking. Is that what they're looking for?
It's really complicated. Well, it's not so complicated once you understand the motivation. So the army is very disciplined because it's a British trained army. You know, obey the order of the commander and no questions asked. And you know, you go kill your own brother. Yes, sir. You kill your dad. Yes, sir. You fire at the Jallianwala Bagh. Yes, sir. You know, you put these people in the black hole of Calcutta. Yes, sir. It's been done all the time. And we did it in East Pakistan. We pillaged, plundered, raped, destroyed that country. So it moved away from us. So they are disciplined to follow orders. These guys do not consider themselves first citizens of a country, that they owe their allegiance to Pakistan. They think they owe their allegiance to the army commander-in-chief. And if there's a rogue commander-in-chief that comes in, like Bajwa did, like this guy, current guy, Asim is, you know, I've just added his picture with this quote from an evil man will burn down his own nation to rule over the ashes. This is what this guy is doing. This is madness. But like I said, Rana, maybe there is a very considered evil plan to do exactly that, so that, you know, India's purpose is served, Israel's purpose is served, the US's purpose is served, the Western world is at peace, no more nukes, small little rump state, okay, give them little tiddly-biddly handouts, you know, like a dog wagging the tail, the 3-4 pieces of Pakistan come together, eat, and then look up and loll their tongue out, and, you know, that's a horrifying future.
And again, I don't believe that future will take place, because
inshallah not.
This is the youth. The youth are standing up, and I don't want to use these wording, but in the past, when the common man has been fed up, they have toppled in entire states,
and societies and systems.
And society, right? Systems. So it's not, if I say this or that, I don't want to be seen one way, but the fact is this exists and the potential is there. What we can do to support is to call out our own government. Now, you and I both know, with all the education process that's going on, they're all in cahoots. Canada, you know, is I'm going to say, the puppet in a way to America. Whatever America does, Canada follows suit, unfortunately. So,
Can I say something here,
certainly.
Rana? Sorry to interject. And that is what I'm trying to impress upon the Canadian politicians. And I'm saying you've got a very large Pakistani diaspora here. There are young kids who are very angry at what's happening in Pakistan. I don't want some terribly misguided lone wolf doing something incredibly stupid, incredibly wrong, incredibly violent, and destroy the peace of this wonderful society. I'm scared, I swear. And I've voiced it. I've written to them. I've told them, I said, you're playing with fire. You're playing with kids who love Imran Khan, who love PTI, who love free democratic Pakistan, who hate what's happening to their mothers, sisters, brothers, children, who are incensed. I get thousands and thousands of messages every day. They're so angry, Rana. I'm scared. I'm scared for Canadian peace.
So I haven't gotten to that level because I don't get that amount of information, obviously, that you're getting, and that very heated and passionate.
I mean, no one's ever said that they're going to go out and do something.
No.
But I can see the anger.
And the anger is there, and there have been worse violations, and example, and I'm going to come back because this is what I am familiar with. Palestinians, how they have been oppressed for 75 years. 75 years of murder, torture, human rights violations. They're penned up, they're being starved. Alhamdulillah, not a single person here in Canada, Palestinian, has ever done anything other than peacefully go out to rally. And these are the youth of Palestine. I don't think the youth of Pakistan are any less aware of the importance of having peaceful rallies. And the real work comes from actual lobbying. The lobbying is what changes it. You blowing up here, going there, causing any kind of conflict does not change a darn thing. It gives the other side the opportunity to crack down and say, see, they're wrong. They're the violent one. Because we should learn from the Palestinians.
Absolutely.
They have
I think that's really good advice.
Decades of lobbying. And finally, their true stories are coming through. And not because of, mainstream media. They have been always putting the narrative forward that suited the Israeli governments. Now the narrative that's coming through is through social media, and social media is the first one to educate us that this is the real life. This is the real narrative. So that has changed for Palestine. So now Palestine has started getting awareness, growth, lobbying, supporters, allies. Pakistan needs to do the same thing. So now,
yes, please continue. Sorry.
Yes. So now these medias that are coming out, share those medias, create those awareness. But more importantly, as Pakistanis in the outside countries, unite, start working together. There are those who are going to disagree and they're going to try to tear you apart. Respect them. Respect them, their opinions, and whatever they have. Do not engage. Do not go down to the level of degrading one another. We're Muslim sisters and brothers. We need to be beyond that. If we are truly followers of Islam and believe in Allah Ta'ala and being accountable afterwards, then we will follow Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his way of doing things. There's a time to take a stand, and there's a time to have things done in a respectful way. So let's unite first. Let's put aside our own differences within our own communities, because we have our own personal issues as well. Frankly speaking, in our own communities, why do we not have a strong lobbying group already in Canada, the way our Sikh brothers sisters do, where the Jewish community, mashallah, they have a very strong lobbying group. Why are we lacking that solidarity as overseas Pakistanis to come together and lobby? We only have 5 people, Pakistanis in parliament, in federal, whereas the other communities have far more, and they are now able to lobby on behalf of their countries. An example is the Sikh community. When the farmers' issues was taking place, the Sikh community and the members of parliament were able to bring it to the forefront in the legislature. And now we Pakistani, we are barely able to get a petition that's not being signed. So let me make you aware. Get out and sign that petition. Excellent. It's a It's a 2-step process. I have to finish this because this is where we fail.
Yes,
Once you sign the petition, it's going to come back to ask you for verification. Verify that and you will get it. Once we sign that petition, this is a government petition. It gets enough signatures. It goes into the legislature for discussion. And we have failed. The last information I got was we had 400 signatures. With almost 1 million Pakistanis here, tell me, why do we have 400 signatures?
So I can help you there, Rana. This thing that I've placed on the screen for a very long time, www.democracy.contact. Yeah, you've seen that?
Yes.
Okay, so this is an email platform developed by it's a platform that anyone can use. We're using this to write emails to members of parliament, both provincial and national and federal, in Canada, Australia, USA, New Zealand, UK, all right, and to committees in the EU and the United Nations. It's very simple. You go there. It'll pick up your address through geofencing. It'll pick you up, and you have this whole email already drafted. You want to change it completely. You want to delete, add, do whatever you want. It will auto-populate your MPs and your MPP's address. You just send it out, and you put in your address. It'll auto-populate. It'll send it out, and it just goes out to them. This petition that you're talking about, if you want this to go out to every single MP and MPP by concerned Pakistani Canadian constituents, please send it to me. I have this platform. I will send it out. I can guarantee you're going to get more than 400 signatures on this.
Wonderful. And so thank you so much. That is so important. It's important each and every listener or viewer start sharing it. Do you know all you need is an email? There's not even an age limit as far as I know on this. You just have to have an email. You have to be obviously living in Canada. So this is, for the one that I was speaking of, that's the requirement. So a family member, we're mashallah large families. You have 4 or 5 signatures easily going out from one address. So there's no reason why we can't make this happen. The other thing is we really need to ask the questions of our government, and that why there's such biased behavior going on. One of the example I'm going to share is that Canada gave Ukraine $19 billion to support democracy and human rights. $19 billion. Now,
$19 billion to Ukraine. This is over what period?
It's just, I think, in the recent period that they started.
Wow.
This information was shared with me that since this issue has started, and I believe now since, please don't quote me, Pakistan has gone under the new governmentship. I believe Pakistan is providing, I hate to say this, weapons to Ukraine now. They're now dealing with them as
ammunition.
Well. Ammunition.
So and it's a really sad tale of the honesty of purpose of the world at large. And I think with people like you, Rana Saiba, and the 5 federal MPs that we have, and others, I hope you will help people like me reach out to so I can talk to them through democracy.contact, through the petition that you're hopefully going to resurrect and say. I think we need to impress upon Canada that it is in their interest to safeguard democracy in Pakistan. It's in the US's interest. Can you imagine a nuclear armed state, Rana Saiba? We're a nuclear armed state. We've got 224 million people. 65% of the population is under the age of 35. They are uneducated, large majority. They've got no jobs. They have no hope. What do you think is going to happen to Pakistan and its nuclear weapons if it descends into chaos and anarchy? What will happen to the peace of the region and the globe?
It's a tinderbox. There's no doubt about it. It's a tinderbox, and it's being deliberately ignited by outside forces. And internally, there are those who are benefiting from it, are allowing it to happen. And because why? Because once they have their money gets sent out of the country, and they're going to flee the country, and they'll let it burn. And that's what if we are true patriots, we're not even that. If we're humanitarians, I see myself as a humanist. And that's why I support everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bottom line, I'm a humanist, And I will support everyone on that humanitarian basis and with that lens. So why would we want that for a country, let alone one that we call our own country?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I need to share some of the, because I did reach out to community. I wanted to share their input. I don't want it to be my own viewpoint.
Please.
And some of the things that, one was impressed on me, that what some of the community members are seeing is Mr. Trudeau, and Canada likes to show itself as a champion of human rights. Some of the things that they're doing, they have attended the G20 summits in Kashmir and in other places. Why is that okay for them to do that? Mm-hmm. One of the other things someone said is, and these are not my words, but Trudeau is good for, and this is sari, samosas, and selfies. Mm. And in a way, yes, because, Mr. Trudeau has been very great at creating relationship, with various countries, and he dons on the clothing and seems very accepting. But when it comes to actually saving lives, the human lives and the well-being of the countries, he's silent.
How do I access Trudeau, Rana Saiba? I'd love to interview him, and I'm going to ask him these questions and say, this is what the community says. Is it possible to interview him? Is it easy?
I mean, we can definitely network. Here's the thing. Will he want to be interviewed with someone who's going to ask him the hard questions? Or does he want to be interviewed with someone who's going to be very light and fluffy and fawn all over him, thank him so much for, supporting Pakistanis? Because let's say it, we see that happening. We see it. Our masjids are fawning over the political parties. We see our communities, those who, for them, again, it's about making that connection and not making a difference. The people who want to make a difference will not be welcome in their circles. They will be pushed out. Someone like myself, why am I not welcome in politics? Because I truly believe in change. I believe in getting rid of the status quo. Well, no, they don't want that. I'm a team player, but the simple question is, when they ask jump, they want a person who'll say, okay, how high? Whereas I say, okay, but why?
Yes.
Explain to me. And they don't want that.
Yeah. Rana Saiba, we're going to be winding up in 3 minutes. So I'm going to give you this opportunity to please help us with next steps. Thank you.
Well, I'm sending a heartfelt request. Please, Pakistani diaspora, come together. There are many things we have not come together over the years, and that, hopefully we can change. This is the country that either you were born or raised in, you are connected with, and it struggled to come into being. It's struggling to keep afloat. And unless you participate and come together, it takes money. With money becomes lobbying. With lobbying comes policy changes. There is simple steps. Others have found the formula. Why are we not using it?
Can you repeat the formula again? 1, 2, 3, 4. It'd be really nice, please.
Money.
We
come together. First, we have to come together with money. We lobby together.
The
lobby goes into parliament, becomes the policy changes. Because the politicians that you lobby, they run around the money. It's all about the money, honey. And if the Pakistanis come together, pool their money, then they have the lobbying power of the MPs that are in their districts to encourage them to put forward the policies that benefit that lobbying group.
So it's just a 1, 2, 3, 4. Come together, pool money, easy. Lobby the MP, put them in parliament so they lobby for you.
Yeah, that's how everyone else has done it. This is not me being brilliant. This is what I've learned. Being into politics, I've seen behind the scenes. The people will not answer to the conscience. The people want your votes to stay in power. In order to get that, they know it's all about money. A basic fund needed is $40,000 just to start to run for MP. That gives you an idea. That's just a starting fund that's needed. So to actually win, you need more. So if these people, that's their goals, to win and get into power, they need your money. And they will come to your dinners, your organizations, they're lobbying you to get your votes. They're coming to the mosques. They're coming to your events. Why? Because they really appreciate everything. Some, yes, some are very sincere, but majority are doing it for that networking.
So Rana Sahib, is there an umbrella organization of Pakistanis in Canada which has all these other organizations under it, like a Supra pack or something?
Not that I'm not saying that it doesn't exist. I can speak of my organization, the Pakistani Canadian Association of Nova Scotia, and I can speak on behalf of myself. And I'll be honest, when it comes to money, I'm very scared. I don't like to get involved because other things develop, corruption develops, doesn't matter where, control issues develop. So I'm more on the, the optimistic side and the humanitarian side and the volunteering side. That's something I'm willing to work with, because you want reputable people in the communities. Because trust, that's another thing. We don't trust each other. I've noticed that. I brought up other projects, and the first thing the comments was distrust comments. Well, who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? So we have to come together and have some trust and faith. One thing I do want to add, if I only have a couple of minutes left, Nova Scotia is going through a horrific fire. I don't know if you've seen that in the news. It has spread quite a bit. And people's homes are being burnt, they're being displaced. So please reach out and support. The Pakistani Canadian Association of Nova Scotia has started a minimal fundraiser. Pakistanis have been displaced as well. But
is that a GoFundMe or something?
It's another company because they're trying to avoid the
so
money.
If you can send me the link, I will add that to the description of this interview.
Thank you. And I will say the monies will be distributed equally, but anything that's left will go to other charities. We will follow the Islamic rules. And it's, of course, we will not turn anyone down who needs help. But that is what we thought the minimum we could do for our community and our association.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rana Zaman Sahiba. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard Rana Zaman Sahiba. You can see the passion, the fire, the commitment. She suffered for her views as well. She got her ticket rescinded and she got a Human Rights Award taken away from her. It's incredible for speaking up for the Palestinians. And her advice is really, really simple. Come together, put some money in, lobby to get members in parliament so they lobby for you. And the youth of Pakistan, her second message, the youth of Pakistan have changed. They're no longer, it's like, it's not my father's Oldsmobile. It's not their father's Pakistan. It's their Pakistan. They will take the destiny of this country forward, despite the fascism and totalitarianism and the brutality of Asim Munir and his military-backed junta and the government of Pakistan. Thank you very much, Rana Zaman Sahiba. It was a pleasure having you. We will have more conversations, I'm sure, as we go forward.
Inshallah. And my last thing is, please forgive me if I have said anything that may have hurt or offended anyone. That is not my intention. My intention is to raise awareness because I love our community. I love our people. I love Canada. I love Pakistan.
Thank you very much. नाज़रीन, अब तक के लिए इजाज़त दीजिए। अल्लाह सुब्हान ताला आपको, आपके अहलो याल के, आपके प्यारों को अपने हिफ्ज़-ओ-मान में रखे। राना साहिबा, ज़मान साहिबा के ख़ानदान के अहलो याल, इन सबको अपने हिफ्ज़-ओ-मान में रखे। पाकिस्तान की जो हकीकी आज़ादी की जंग लड़ने वाले हैं, उनको अपने हिफ्ज़-ओ-मान में रखे। पाकिस्तान के ऊपर जो ये नासूर, ये ज़ालिम आके बैठ गए, अल्लाह सुब्हान ताला इनके ख़ानदान, इनकी आने वाली जितने इनकी नस्लें, उनको नेस्त और नाबूद कर, तबाह कर दे, आग में फेंके, इस जहान में भी और अगले जहान में भी। पाकिस्तान जिंदाबाद, पाकिस्तान पाइंदाबाद। इलाही आमीन। अस्सलाम वालेकुम, खुदा हाफ़िज़। Thank you, Rana Sahiba. Very kind of you.
My pleasure.